In today's video, we're going to talk about Superman Legacy, which is the first real movie in Pete Safran, James Gunn, and David Zaslav's new universe, which is called the DCU. There's been a lot of interesting details come out recently, which has made me so positive about the future of Superman. So yo, what is freaking good YouTube? Watched you here with another video on the future of the DCU. It's looking very promising. James Gunn has been behaving better on social media recently with what he's saying, and it actually makes sense why Henry Cavill is no longer gonna be Superman. So if you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below if you're in charge of DC Studios, what the freaking hell would you do? And also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at WatchG to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, WatchG. And also, if you could, check us out on twitch.tv/WatchG. So, it couldn't be a WatchG video without me talking about one of James Gunn's tweets. So, James Gunn recently set the internet on fire by saying something. So, someone tweeted to one of his tweets, "I miss you, Henry Cavill, Bezzy." Then James Gunn responded, and the SnyderVerse has really taken this badly that he's purposely trolling the SnyderVerse. So it's been literal months since before Black Adam came out, or just after Black Adam came out, and we found out that Henry Cavill Superman was no longer gonna be the Superman in the DC universe. But James Gunn said something that set the internet on fire. He still exists. Is James Gunn teasing that Henry Cavill's actually gonna be coming back as Superman? No, he's not. I think what he's saying is he's still alive, he still exists in the DC multiverse, because irrespective of the new DCU continuity, we know after the Flash movie comes out, after June, it will set up the new DC universe. It's not going to scrap and erase everything. Everything that happened beforehand is still gonna have happened. And if, hypothetically speaking, James Gunn spoke to his good friend Zack Snyder, there could be a Justice League Part 2 and Part 3 on an Elseworld storyline if they wanted to do that, like they have with Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and Harley Quinn starring Lady Gaga, and Matt Reeves Batman on an Elseworld standalone, completely standalone universe, if they wanted to do that. So I'm gonna have to say, chill the out. He does still exist. They're not erasing him from the timeline. Okay, careful spoilers. Yeah, I get it. In the Flash movie, there is technically Kal-El instead of Kal-El. So technically in that movie, they have kind of erased him. But that's in a new timeline, and after Barry runs back in time and stops his mother from being killed. So hypothetically, that's a hypothetical situation. So we know that Henry Cavill came out and said, "Yo, I'm Superman again." And then he's like, "Yeah, you're not." So it's recently come out that the real reason why Henry Cavill will not be Superman and Kal-El going forward is because a casting call has come out recently, and Grace Randolph does get stuff right. People say she gets stuff wrong all the time, but let's give Grace her props. She seems to be right about this Pedro Pascal stuff with the Star Wars stuff. She was right when she said Henry Cavill was only returning for cameos. And every other Twitter scooper said, no, he's back, he's back, he's literally said he's back. And she actually went against what he was saying. It's like, no, he's not back. So sometimes these internet people get stuff right. So Jeff Snyder, according to him, and James Gunn hasn't debunked this, Superman Legacy Superman is expected to be early to mid-20s, which, if it is a complete new universe, Superman and Batman are centric, pivotal parts to the new universe, Superman has to be under the age of 30. Sure, Henry Cavill is 37 and will be pushing 40 by the time Superman Legacy comes out, but he's not going to pass for a 25-year-old. The one note the agency have right now for Superman is young. So I'm expecting the Superman actor who is going to be playing him to be early to mid-20s. That's my new forecast, 22 to 26, which your boy Stu said that. So that's good, because there's actually a reason here why it can't be Henry Cavill Superman. And it's not just about the age. Of course, an early 20s or even 25 Clark Kent is a departure from Henry Cavill's last portrayal of the hero, who is now close to 40, but irrespective of that, he looks mid-30s. Snyder went on to describe Henry Cavill's replacement as a young Chris Pratt type, a young farmer boy. And they're really looking for him as a model here. As you might expect, is a young Chris Pratt type, a young farmer boy type. And it's okay for him to have that body that he's kind of going to have to grow into a little bit. I always find it weird when casting calls and stuff come and go, yeah, you're Zac Efron type, you're young Chris Pratt type. Well, Chris Pratt isn't actually any younger than Henry Cavill. So to come out and say a young Chris Pratt type. So according to the internet, and we can only go by what the internet says, it's not just about his age. This whole reboot, it's not just about his age. So this Superman reboot, James Gunn is very good at developing stories, which you have to give him props for. He's gonna avoid rehashing old Superman stories. So he said this: I don't think the movie will be worth making if it was just redoing any of the other Superman adaptations. For us to truly thrive as a studio, we need to honor the past of these characters while simultaneously seeing them into a new light, which is cool. We know minor details, reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as Clark Kent. So if you go by most of the details out there about what is going on, it's very promising. And James Gunn is allegedly going to be using Lex Luthor. Now, I think that's a bit of a weird, I mean, he is quite famous, he is well known. It would make sense. I guess you could say Lex Luthor is Superman's Joker in a roundabout way. So the same person, Jeff Snyder, on the hot mic said this: the thing that I'm told is Superman Legacy will be based around Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Lex Luthor are all in the movie. It is important to note that this information has not been confirmed or verified by Warner Bros. Or DC Studios, but it is fascinating. And the more information that comes out about Super Legacy, the more logical reason there is for Henry Cavill not being Superman. Now, if they were to cast someone, say, the age 35 to 40, then it would not look good because you've literally got a perfect Superman already. But to cast someone completely younger makes a lot of sense. They need someone young. Now, it recently came out that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 vibe and Guardians of the Galaxy is not going to be the same as the Superman Legacy movie. There's been a lot of weird comments about this movie overall. I don't know why you would even compare. The Guardians vibe is nothing like Superman vibe. It's not quite an origin story, although it will be telling a new depiction of the Superman franchise in a roundabout way. Gunn promises a tonal shift for Superman, which I think is a good thing. I've learned so much from making these films, but it's not like Superman is going to have exactly the same vibe as Guardians movie. It's actually quite different. Well, it sure as hell better be. And then he went on to say this: I think I would have an interest in a live action Crypto, whether or not I had him anything to do with Rocket. So he's come out and said some pretty interesting things. It's been a long road to the point. I was offered Superman years ago. I initially turned it down because I didn't have a way it felt unique and fun and the emotional that gives Superman the dignity he deserved. So it is very interesting. Gunn continued remarking on how critical the impact that Jonathan and Martha Kent, as well as Jor-El and Lara, had on Clark's development. Then a little bit less a year ago, I saw a way, in many ways, centering around Superman's heritage, how both its historical Kryptonian parents and his Kansas former parents inform who he is and the choices he makes. He then concluded his thoughts by hoping to eventually release Superman Legacy, which is still a couple of years away. But the long and short of it is, I love the script. I'm incredibly excited as we begin this journey up, and away. And based on what Gunn said recently, if you're a real fan of DC movies and the DC comic book characters from the comics, you can't really disagree with what he's saying. Let's just hope that he delivers on the script and delivers with a stellar casting. And I don't expect anything to come out officially till at least San Diego Comic-Con this summer. I expect stuff to leak. I mean, there's already been multiple leaks of alleged he is Superman. I mean, for me, Wolfgang would be a cool choice. Make Wolfgang the next Superman. But we need to get away from this SnyderVerse, Henry Cavill is our Superman kind of storyline. Because sure, Henry Cavill is a great Superman, but it's not going to happen. And even if Amazon Prime or some other company was to buy the rights to the SnyderVerse, it's still not going to be canon to Warner Brothers. It's not going to be canon to the DC universe going forward. So it would just be an Elseworlds storyline. So like I said, if the SnyderVerse does get restored, bro, it will be an Elseworlds storyline down the road if they really want to do it. Zack has a relationship with Pam Abdi and Michael DeLuca, who are executives. They don't really have a say in DC content. Sure, SnyderCon's come up at the end of this month, but we already know what that is, and it's interesting. Like I say, I'm not a leaker. I know some things about what's going to come out, and that's going to be really spicy when it does come out or doesn't. It's conflicting reports about that, but I don't really want to report on SnyderVerse stuff because it's not going to happen at the moment. So really, retrospectively speaking, just get excited for James Gunn's universe because most people like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. And from a story point of view, in terms of telling a good story, you can't deny that James Gunn is good at it. The Suicide Squad was good. Peacemaker was good. And to be honest, there's been a lot of misses in DC recently. Shazam 2, absolute train wreck. Black Adam, I think Black Adam was somewhat decent, but there hasn't been a good DC movie since I think the Batman was pretty good. The Suicide Squad was pretty good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this tonal shift in the DC universe. I don't think it's all going to be light and bright and pretty colors when it comes to Superman being good, but his take is going to be very different. So Henry Cavill still exists. He's still alive, which is literally what he's saying. And in that continuity of the SnyderVerse universe and the DCU, he's always going to survive and live there. Like, that's what he's saying. I don't think he's purposely coming out and trolling the SnyderVerse fans like people seem to think he is. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WashU. Check us out on Twitter at WashUG. And we'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.